It happened like this. I was painting outside near Mount Arizaba. I saw Indian peasants working in the textile mills, factories for making clothes, for long hours under inhumane conditions. The owners of the mills enforced rules to keep the workers at the level of animals. Anyone breaking the rules would get brutal beatings by the foreman. Wages were not paid in cash, but in tokens, like fake money, that the peasants could use at the company store. So they never really got cash. They never got money. In the winter of 1906, the owners made conditions worse for workers. They decreased the wages for the workers and increased the regulations, the rules. Without a plan, the workers collectively walked out and refused to work. This made life more difficult for the families. Yet the workers and their families were willing to make a sacrifice to try to get better working conditions. With naive trustfulness, a delegation, a small group of the workers, walked to the home of Diaz, the father of his people, for his help. Diaz promised them that he would take care of his children. Unfortunately, Diaz took care of them a few days later by sending troops, soldiers, who shot down men, women, and children who had been gathering, more and more had been gathering in the streets to protest. To this day, I can see the innocents lying dead on the streets in pools of blood. I realized that the workers were naive to go to Diaz for help, and I was naive about the terrible working conditions for the peasants. Finally, I got involved in a way that I did not anticipate. As the protests continued, the terrible soldiers returned. Finally, I could not paint anymore. Remember, he was trying to paint the mountains and the landscape while all of this was going on. I stopped painting the beautiful mountains and joined the striking workers. That day, one of the soldiers hit me on the back of my neck with his rifle. I was knocked down and dragged to jail. In jail, that is where I began to talk to many of the workers from the mills. And this is when I began to think about politics in a different way. It was soon time for me to get on the ship to go to Spain to study art. I could not sleep on the ship because I was remembering the horrors I had seen. So I would pace on the deck back and forth and sing and shout about the bad conditions for the Indian peasants that I had seen. The other passengers were wealthy and untouched by the struggle of the poor Mexicans. I think they thought I was crazy. It was at this time that my political ideas began to form. I became a revolutionary.